Welcome back to Educated College Snap channel. How you doing? So today we're going to be reviewing a new featured location. It's been a little while since I've done this, but I definitely wanted to try to bring it back, see if I can include it again. But yeah, we definitely have some stuff to talk about. Let's get into it. Don't want to waste too much time. So here we go. The name is Ped Mansion. It's this turn, all cards must be played here. So this is a very, I guess, restrictive card in that you're forced to play a card in a particular location. The nice thing is that it comes out early, since it has to be turn 1, 2, or 3. It's not like, for example, Avengers Compound, where you're forced to play in a crucial turn, and people can do some stupid stuff. They can Spider-Man before. You can't really get that type of crazy restrictive setup in an early location like Ped Mansion. So there's that benefit, but you still can do stuff to make it annoying for your opponent. And knowing where your opponent is going to play can be abused in some ways that we're going to talk about. But overall, this is going to be a common rarity, so you're going to see this a lot. And the nice thing about it is that it's mostly ignorable. It's not a crazy, you have to change your deck to accommodate this featured location type of card. But if you do ignore it, there are some ways to take advantage of it that we're going to be talking about right now. So first thing, most important thing, I do think with a location like this, knowing it's a featured location, being able to lock down an opponent can be really strong. So by lockdown, basically I mean like you just remove their ability to play in that lane. Now, since it comes out really early, you're not really able to do this like crazy lockdown. But what you can do is, since there's a good chance the opponent will play into that location, that means you only have to lock down the other three before that location is completely screwed for them. So, what are some of the ways to do that? The Hood into Viper especially, can be a really good way of locking one of those locations. Green Goblin can be a very good way of doing it. Debris can also be a very good way of doing it, as well as Polaris, right? Polaris being able to move a 1-cost unit. Maybe they play something on 1. Well, then you Polaris that 1 or 2 drop into the location that has Ped Mansion, and that can also be very powerful, as well as Titania. So Titania, right, you have to do a little bit of investment, but if you can correctly predict when they're going to have 3 spots closed in that location, that Titania can jump over and take that 4th slot, allowing you to just guarantee that win on the final turn by playing basically any card into that lane that's locked down. So I definitely think if you do want to take advantage of this location, you want to be obnoxious. Lockdown is the most preferred way to do it. So, and then here, if you can lock down a location using this strategy, well, then any extra lockdown for a second location like Spider-Man can just close out the win. They're locked out of 2 locations. It's very easy to win both of them. That can be your game plan for this particular, set of this particular 24 hours. So it is something you can do. You're going to frustrate people if you do fully commit to this, but there's a lot of decks already that run a lot of these cards. So it's not too hard to just utilize a deck using this strategy and just ruin people's days. I know a lot of my suggestions are just like, hey, ruin someone's day today. Like, but that's not necessarily what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to give you some things to think about. So next up in the set of cards to talk about, these are cards I think that just take advantage of it, but in a less frustrating way, less lockdown way, where anything that triggers if your opponent plays a card here the same turn, well, that's going to be very easy to calibrate. They have to play here, so if they play anything, it's going to trigger. One caveat is it can't be anything bigger than 3, because 3 is the latest that it can show up, but it usually has to be a 1 or 2 or 3 cost card. So Mantis, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, and Groot, the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of engine, those are the ones that can really take advantage of that. Now, 2 other things I want to put in there is Adam Warlock. If you can play Adam Warlock on turn 2 with something like the Yellow Jacket, and then the location pops up turn 3, well, they're not able to contest that Adam Warlock location because they have to play in that third location. So that's something you can do to just guarantee that extra proc, extra draw. Can be really effective if you get that set up. Downside is it has to be that third location. If it's the first location, doesn't matter. If it's the second location, also doesn't matter. So it's not that consistent of a strategy, but it's something you can do if you want to do it that way. And then Mojo, right? Especially if you are committing to a lockdown strategy, Mojo can be very easy to win a location that's already full. It's 2 mana, 8 power, very, very strong if you can get the setup correctly. So that could be something you can do, especially with Debris. That would be something you can look into if that's the kind of strategy you want to go for. And then the third thing, of course, is the counter to the counter. If you are seeing people play Lockdown, first of all, I'm sorry. That wasn't my intention. I just wanted to throw out things people could do. But you can just mess them up, right? Carnage, Venom, Deathlock, anything destroying cards can be really good. If you're seeing a lot of Green Goblins, well, just eat it. Completely neutralize that strategy. You could also do something like Killmonger, right? If you don't want to be the one playing a lot of early game, you can just remove their early game. That could also work in a way. Beast, right, is the opposite of Carnage, where instead of eating up, you're just putting it back to your hand. That could be better if you are something that wants a huge hand or a way to draw that way. Also, Armor could also be something to mess up the people during Carnage. So that's kind of countering the people who want to be annoying or who want to eat up your stupid Green Goblins. You can just armor that lane. That could be pretty mean, honestly. Something to do. Cloak is also another way of getting out of that scenario where they lock you down. If they lock you down, well, you could Cloak, move some of them into a different lane, and now you can play into that. So that's something you can do. And then, of course, Valkyrie could be another finisher there where, okay, they've given me tons of bad cards, you know, Black Widow bites, Green Goblins. Well, Valkyrie at last turn into a plus. That could be something you can do. So just some tools for the people. If someone's committing to a junk deck, you could add some of these cards to kind of mess their groove and make them regret ever messing with you. So basically, this isn't a location I would say you have to really invest too much in. It's a location you can ignore, and I think you'll still do pretty well. But if you do want to take advantage of it, we did kind of create some of the cards to look out for. And some of the decks I would be thinking about is just maybe a junk deck, maybe something with the ability to eat things or put it back to your hand just in case people play junk around you, or just play your normal deck and have fun and hope that it doesn't mess you up too much. So overall, this is not too crazy of a location. Definitely the next one that's coming out might be a little bit crazier. But for now, that's all we got. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Educated Colin Snap. Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you to marvel snap. Your skills will be